Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Manitoba Start is the leading provider of career services to the newcomers in the province of Manitoba and connects business to a world-class workforce. I would like to welcome you all to this Spotlight webinar, a series of live broadcasted events designed to assist you in entering the Manitoba labor market. Before we start, I will go with the land of acknowledgement. Manitoba Start acknowledges that we are gathered on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Anishinaabeg, Yakuta Oyate, Denisulini, and Nihilwak nations, and the homeland of the Red River Métis. We acknowledge that our water is sourced from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation. As a newcomer serving organization, we commit to learning about the histories, cultures, and the rights of the Indigenous communities to strive to build a respectful and supportive relationship for all. Our today's webinar is focusing on the supply chain of Manitoba. My name is Luna. I am the outreach coordinator here at Manitoba Start, and I will be your host for today's webinar. Given the large number of participants who have joined this webinar, we have muted your microphone to allow for better clarity and less interference. So before we begin, I will be going over a couple of housekeeping items. You can raise your hand to ask question. By the end of the session, we will have Q&A. So to raise your hand, we have like the raise hand feature that indicates that you have a question. So just click on the participants button in the meeting controls and find raise hand icon next to your name, and you can click on it. And this will notify that we have a raised hand. And Teams webinar also have a Q&A feature that allows you to ask your question there. So you can, meanwhile, you can write your question there as well while the presentation is going, and then we will get back to you by the end of the presentation. And to access this, click on the More Options options 3 dots button in the meeting controls and select Q&A. And if you're comfortable using the chat, you can also write your questions there as well. If you're using a mobile device, you can do the same. Raise hand. You can use Q&A or the chat as well. So before I introduce you our presenter for today, I would like to run a few polls to get to know you more better. So we'll go with the first poll. Our first poll for today is asking, are you registered with Manitoba Start? You can click on yes or no, and then click on submit if you can see the polls on your screen. I'll give you a moment to answer. I see there are some replies on the chat. Feel free to use the polls as well. Thank you so much for your participation. Okay, now I will close the poll and I'll share the results with you. Valerie, that's okay. You can also use the chat. I'm just going to read the polls for you. Okay, so for this one, we have 86% registered with Manitoba Start and 14% who are not registered. So we will share more information on how you can register with Manitoba Start and what services you can get from us as well. And our second poll for today is asking, do you need help with your resume, cover letter, or interview preparation? These are some of the services that Manitoba Start can support you with. So if you need help with this, you can reply yes. If not, you can reply no, and then click on submit. For those of you who cannot access the polls, then use the chat. Thank you. Thank you everyone who are participating in the polls. I appreciate that. Okay, now we're closing the poll. Okay, we have 75% responding yes and 25% no. Thank you, everyone. And let's go to our third poll. Okay, our third poll for today is asking your location. Where are you joining us from today? Are you from northern Manitoba, southern Manitoba, Winnipeg, or you're outside of Canada? Thank you, everyone. I can see your responses on the chat. Thank you and welcome to today's session. Okay, now we're closing the poll. This is good. We have people from Winnipeg, Portage La Prairie. I can see from the chat and from the polls. We have 13% from southern Manitoba and 88% from Winnipeg. Again, welcome everyone. Okay, let's go to our final poll. And it's asking what's your reason for attending this webinar? Are you an internationally educated professional, a settlement worker, a career coach, or other? Okay, we have some internationally educated professionals. Okay, we will now close the poll. For replies from the polls, we have 44% internationally educated professionals, 11% career coaches, and other falls under 44%. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Our today's webinar is featuring the Supply Chain Manitoba. Supply Chain Manitoba is dedicated to optimizing supply chains for individuals and organizations in Manitoba and beyond. They cover all aspects of the supply chain, emphasizing workforce development in transportation and distribution. They advocate for sustainable practices and are affiliated with Manitoba Institute of Supply Chain, Canada, offering recognized credentials. Their goal is to advance supply chain efficiency, resilience, and sustainability, and they are part of the province of Manitoba Sector Council program for transportation and distribution. Our today's presentation will cover about all the different career in the supply chain industry, and it's for anyone who wants to learn more about all the different roles across the sectors and industries in supply chain. So some of the roles to be discussed for today will include procurement, transportation, logistics, and operations of management. So please welcome Nishta from the supply chain of Manitoba. Over to you, Nishta.
Hi everyone. Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm just going to share my screen. So,
Okay,
my name is
good.
Nishtha, and I'm the outreach manager with Supply Chain Manitoba. I want to thank Manitoba Start for this opportunity to speak with everyone today. Manitoba Start has been doing some incredible work connecting newcomers to Manitoba with the resources, support, and opportunities they need to build a life and career here. Today's presentation is about unlocking opportunities in supply chain careers, and I hope you will leave with a better understanding of what supply chain is, why it matters, and how it can connect to your own career path. So, whether you're brand new to Canada, or you're exploring a career change, or looking to build new skills you already have, this presentation is for you. So let's get started. I don't want to spend too much time on who we are, so this is a short video which will give you a quick overview of our organization and the sector as a whole. So I hope that gave you a feel good energy and a scope of what supply chain is as a sector. So let's dive a little bit deeper. Supply Chain Manitoba is a not for profit, and everything we do falls under three pillars. The first one being we connect, we build partnerships between businesses, educational institutions, and indigenous communities to strengthen Manitoba's supply chain network. Second, we provide workforce training, upskilling, and certification programs to grow the talent this industry needs. And third, we support, so we offer resources, events, and tools that help businesses and individuals improve their supply chain practices. Um, to understand, just a second. Yeah. So to understand why it really matters, let me give you a few numbers that really puts this into perspective. So supply chain moves over $1 trillion worth of goods across Canada every single year. They contribute to 66 billion to our GDP, and they employ over 900,000 people coast to coast. Now, right here in Manitoba alone, more than 78,000 people work in supply chain related jobs. So think about it this way: supply chain is the heartbeat of Canada's economy. Every piece of food on your table, every piece of clothing you're wearing, every medicine you pick up from the pharmacy, it got there because of supply chain. So whether be it agriculture, mining, healthcare, or retail, chain touches every sector in this province. And if you want to work in an industry that is essential, that is growing and full of opportunity, supply chain is it. So, now before we talk about careers, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what supply chain actually is. So, yeah. So, supply chain is a network of interconnected organizations, suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, logistics providers, all working together to produce and deliver product to the end customer. So, in other words, it's everything that happens from the moment a raw material is grown or extracted all the way until a finished product lands in your hands. That entire journey is supply chain. Um, Here's a simple diagram showing the basic flow. So as you can see, on one side you have the point of origin, the supplier or the manufacturer, and on the other side you have the customer. In between, a distributor moves the product efficiently from one end to to the other. And now I'm going to show you another diagram of how it actually happens, because this seems a little bit confusing. So what's interesting here is that we would call these tiers. So there's tier one, tier two, and tier three suppliers. So we would make it a little more organized so that it's not confusing. So tier three is usually the most upstream. So think about raw material extractors or farmers. Tier two would be processing those materials, and tier one would be directly supplying to the manufacturer. The manufacturer then gets the product to the distributor, who gets it to the customer. This layered structure is why supply chain management is so complex and why it creates so many career entry points. So, no matter where your background is, there is a place for you somewhere in this chain, because it's creating so many opportunities for people who want to join in supply chain. So now let's take this example and make it real. So have any of you ordered a burger from DoorDash or Skip? Put your hands up. I see some hands. Right. So let's talk about the moment when you order a burger on Skip or DoorDash and it's showing up at your doorsteps. So just a second. So as you can see, there are multiple elements in that make up that burger, right? So we have the bun, the beef patty, and then we have the lettuce and then the sauces. So each of these elements are grown or produced somewhere and transported to a food manufacturer and then packed and then shipped to a distributor, transported again to the restaurant, assembled, and then a delivery driver brought it right to your doorsteps. So, what you're really ordering when you tap on that app is a result of an entire supply chain working in perfect coordination across agriculture, manufacturing, transportation, and the last mile mile delivery. This is supply chain management in action, and people are employed at every stage of those steps that we just mentioned. So, what is supply chain management exactly? So, Uh, supply chain management is the coordination and oversight of all those activities, sourcing raw materials to transforming them into finished products and delivering them to the customer. It encompasses a full network of suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, retailers, and customers. And think of it as the strategy and the intelligence layer sitting on top of the physical supply chain, the people making sure that everything flows smoothly, efficiently, and at the right cost. So, supply chain can be broken down into four areas. I'm just going to show them to you here. Just a second. So, as you can see, we have four different primary functions or areas. And as I go through these, I want you to think about where your strengths fit. So, the first one here is sourcing, which is find it. This is about researching suppliers, analyzing markets, and ensuring an organization gets the best materials from the best sources. So, if you love research, or analytics or problem solving, sourcing could be your entry point. The second is procurement, buy it. So this is the negotiation and purchasing side. Procurement professionals build relationships with suppliers, they negotiate contracts, and they manage the buying process. So if you're a people person who's good at negotiation and communication, procurement would be a natural fit for you. Um, the third is transportation, which is move it. So this covers logistics, freight, dispatching, and delivery. So if you like being on the move, managing complex logistics operations, the transportation would be an incredible opportunity for you. And the fourth is warehousing, which is storing it. So this is operations, inventory, and fulfillment. So if you like organized, hands-on environment with clear processes, warehousing is a great place to start. Now let's talk about the job market because numbers are really exciting, especially for newcomers. Um, as you can see, Manitoba's supply chain sector is projected to need more than 14,500 new workers over the next few years. This is not a sector that is waiting for you, it's actively looking for you right now. So, high demand roles could include truck drivers to material handlers to logistics coordinators to supply chain analysts, and salaries could vary from 40,000 to 100,000 and more, depending on the role and the experience level. So whether you prefer hands-on physical work or strategic office-based careers, there is genuinely something here for everyone. And I want to really emphasize this point that supply chain is not a single job. It is an entire ecosystem of over 200 different career options, as you can see over here. And they're in four different sections. There's sourcing, procurement, transportation, and warehousing. Um, and the message here is very clear. There is a place for everyone in supply chain, regardless of your background, educational level, or previous industry experience. You can start as a material handler and work your way up to management positions, and which is what I would like you to see in the next slide. So, as you can see how you can start from a material handler, move up to order desk, and eventually move up to supply chain managers. And usually at every stage of your career growth, companies are willing to give you that education or certification required for you to move to the next level. So once you're in the warehouse, it's very easy for you to see a career growth up to a supply chain manager even. um, And another one more thing powerful about supply chain is that the skills are very transferable across industries. So the core principles that you learn in supply chain, they apply everywhere. So now I want you to look at this next slide. This is how this could be a career path for somebody in supply chain. So as you can see, you can move from a lumber industry to restaurant to healthcare to optical to outdoor equipment and to mining. And these are completely different sectors, but they all need supply chain professionals. And once you understand how supply chain works, you can move freely between industries. So if you come to Canada with experience in manufacturing, retail, or agriculture from your home country, those skills could translate directly here. So, supply chain is the bridge that connects your past experience to a new Canadian career. And this is a real example of how flexible it is. This is the career journey of our CEO, Rick Reed. Um, what you see here is someone who started in one industry and he moved across several completely different sectors over the course of his career. And each time applying the same core supply chain knowledge in a new context. So his journey is a proof that once you're in supply chain, you are never boxed in. Your skills open doors across the entire economy, and no two career paths would look the same. So, let's bring supply chain to life one more time. This short video follows Aries, an ambulance fleet coordinator with fleet management services at the government of Manitoba. It's a short video explaining her day in the life. So, as you can see, this role may look like most people would not think this is supply chain, right? But that is exactly the point. Like, supply chain professionals work in hospitals, in the government, in emergency services, anywhere things need to be sourced, managed, moved, or maintained. It all comes under supply chain. So we have some roles, different roles in supply chain, and what are their salary ranges and their job descriptions. I don't want to bore you with them, so I'm just going to skim through these quickly. So as you can see, we have a sourcing specialist. They could be earning on an average about 72,000 per year, and their job would be to analyze and organize and improve the sourcing processes. We have a procurement agent or a procurement officer. So a procurement agent would start with on an average at 56,000 per year. Their usual the work they would that would involve would be specializing with equipments, materials, land, and access rights. And then we have some other positions like we have a truck driver, so they would operate heavy trucks or transport goods and materials. This would start anywhere between 45,000 a year and move increase as you end up traveling more kilometers. And then we have the material handler, which is one of the most easiest way to get into supply chain. So they would start at around 38,000 a year. It's a lot of hands-on work with a very clear path. Um, um, and they could move from the warehouse, they could move up to inventory coordinator, logistics specialist, to up to warehouse manager. We've put together a comprehensive supply chain career view book with even more details on all these roles we covered today. You can scan this QR code and go through it at your own pace. These are just some examples. There are a lot more in this career view book, which you can explore. So just scan the QR code here. I'm going to leave it for a second. I see some hands raised. We will get to questions at the end of the webinar if that is okay. So, if you've already scanned the QR code, now I want to move and change topics a little bit. I want to talk about circular economy. So, instead of the old take, make, and waste model, a circular economy keeps materials and energy in use as long as it is possible through reuse, recycling, and extending product life. So it reduces waste, it supports sustainability and helps fight climate change. This is where supply chain is heading. So I want to show some local examples. We have botanical paperworks. They have been planting. They've been taking waste paper and transforming it into eco-friendly seed paper. We also have Mother Earth Recycling. It's born from an indigenous community partnership which advances circular resources across Winnipeg. And then we have Taifa Co., founded in 2020. It transforms cattles from Lake Winnipeg into horticulture products, which is literally turning pollution into product. So, to appreciate the circular economy better, let's understand how a traditional model works. So, how we usually see a linear economy where companies would dispose of their waste. So, this is a linear economy model, which is pretty straight. It starts with products, it gets into design and manufacturing and completion, and then it all goes into waste. So we're seeing a very one-ended sort of cycle where um, the resources go in and at the end they come out as garbage, which go into landfills, and it's bad for the environment. On the other hand, we have the circular economy, which is a loop. So as you can see, it's minimizing as much waste as possible. Products are designed to be reused, repaired, or recycled back into the system. So waste becomes input for the next cycle. So as you can see, at the end of the cycle, we're using some of that waste to again make new products. So that's how the cycle begins, and then we were minimizing as much waste as we can. So for supply chain professionals, this creates an entirely new responsibility. Like they have to look at reverse logistics, sustainable sourcing, or end of life material management. A very great example for this model is Apple. And they're a powerful global company. We all know Apple. Their MacBooks, they the parts of the MacBooks are 100% recycled aluminum. Their robot Daisy assembles about 200 iPhones per hour for material recovery. They've redesigned their packaging to ship 25% more Apple Watches in every trip that they make, and they've cut Mac Mini shipping emissions by over 95% by eliminating any air freight. So every one of these supply chain decisions are made at the highest of the level, and they've followed the circular economy at such a global stage. So which just shows that it's possible with every company. So we can start with the smaller companies, and we can see so much change. An improvement in terms of our efficiency with how we use our product. So I'm gonna now talk about a little bit about the future of supply chain. So where is supply chain going? The future is being shaped right now by artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and blockchain, and the shift to a circular economy that we already spoke about. So, this means that supply chain is not a stagnant field, it is evolving very fast. And the people who start training in it today are being prepared for a future that looks very different from the past. And some new roles for this future of supply chain are listed down here. So, as you can see, um, we have many roles that will define supply chain over the next decade. Don't fully exist right now. So think about a digital supply chain manager, or a circular economy program manager, or a eco design engineer, or a supply chain cyber security manager. So if you start building your career in supply chain today, you are positioning yourself for roles that will be in high demand for decades to come, and the door is wide open. And now I want to talk, I'm almost at the end of my presentation, and I want to talk about our partners in the following slides. And these partners make sure our operations at Supply Chain Manitoba run smoothly. So, talking about some of the partners um, that we have collaborated with. We have Boeing, we have Manitoba Hydro, Princess Auto, and many others. We've also collaborated with educational partners like University of Manitoba, RRC Polytech, and many others. So making sure we're collaborating with these educational institutes to make sure that supply chain education is accessible to everyone across the province. Um, for those who are looking to formalize their credentials and advance their careers in supply chain, we offer two nationally recognized programs. We have the SCMP and the SMT. So the SCMP is Supply Chain Management Professional Designation, which is for experienced professionals reaching the highest level of recognition in the field. It is Canada's gold standard for supply chain credentials. And we have the SMT, which is the Supply Chain Management Training Diploma, which is perfect for those entering the field or growing their skills, or offering a career in a structured pathway into the industry. So this is a online course. You can do it at your own pace. We have about 10 courses which you can take whenever you like, and you pay as you go. So there's no upfront cost. So it's a great diploma to consider if you want to enter the industry and you're looking with this diploma, you should be able to look for some entry level positions in supply chain. Please feel free to scan the QR code on this slide and explore SEM, SMT, and some of the other courses that we offer. I'm going to leave the slide here for a second. So now I'm I'm almost at the end of my presentation. Before I leave, I want to make sure everyone here knows about our two upcoming opportunities you don't want to miss. So the first one we have is a free career readiness webinar series. It's a two-part online event. The first part is about resume writing. It's on June 8th from 12 to 1 p.m. And then we have the second part, which is about interview preparation, which is on June 11th from 12 to 1 again. This is all Central Time. Um, this is completely free of charge and open to students, career changers, or anyone sharpening their job search skills. Please feel free to scan the QR code on this slide, and you can register right now. We look forward to seeing all of you in our webinar series. I'm gonna leave the QR code here if anyone wants to scan and register. And then we have another opportunity, which is our Indigenous Procurement Micro Credential that is coming up. So this is a 2-day in-person workshop. It's going to be held on October 13th and 14th, 2026 at the Manitoba Trucking Association office in Winnipeg. It offers 10 CPD credits for SCMP holders. Again, you can scan the QR code and register. Um, I'm just going to leave it here for a bit. So with that, I'm at the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for sticking by and listening to everything I had to say. It has been a true pleasure, and we hope to see you in the field. If you want to reach out to us at any time, please email us at supplychainmb.ca. That is all for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nishta. That was very informative presentation. Now we will open it up to the audience. Do you have any question? Yeah, Ibrahim, you can either raise your hand or maybe you can write your question in the chat or Q&A. Yeah, please, everyone, if you do have a question. Okay, let me just oh, I have allowed your mic. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is pure? I have allowed your mic. Please unmute yourself from your side. So once you're allowed, you can unmute your microphone. Yes, you can speak now.
Uh, I have a question, please.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
please.
go ahead.
My name is Ispa Burume. My question is, for how do you help the people who are interested to enter in this field?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part of your question again?
How are you helping people who are interested to enter the field of supply chain management
Right.
or
So
transportation
we
management?
Right. So we do offer two of our courses, the supply chain management diploma, sorry, the supply chain management designation and the diploma. So these are certificate courses that you can take, and with that you're able to join the field. We don't provide any immediate support with employment, but we do keep we have a posting website with Supply Chain Canada, where we often put out any new jobs that are related to supply chain. So these are the means with which you can end up entering the field.
Perfect. Thank
I
you,
hope I
Nishta.
answered your question.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Espoir, we have the same question. I just want to address that one. Mayu uh, is asking the same question. Is there any job posting website for supply chain so they can find it in the website, right?
I can send it on the chat here. Just a second.
Perfect. And I'll just allow your mic, Ibrahim. Please unmute yourself and you can ask your question. Yes, Ibrahim, please try to unmute from your side, but your microphone is allowed. Go ahead, please. Hello, Ibrahim?
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. Um, yeah, I've always been so much interested in like cost supply chain management for a while, and I would have done the diploma course, but a friend of mine have a little bit of discouragement that he gave to me. He said one thing which I held on to it. He said, "Okay, fine. When you're done with the course, and when you look at the companies and the industries around, how many people are being employed in that department? It's like, okay, when you go into X sector, we see billions of people being employed at once and all that. But when it comes to supply chain management, either you have one or two or just three people in a particular department, or they just need one person in that. So the question is, what is the high chances? What is the high chances I have to, if after completing the course, to get access to that very slim chance of opportunity?
Right. That's a great question. With the training program, it's supporting your resume, right? So when you're applying for these entry-level supply chain positions, it's giving you an edge over the other employees. Now, if for when you get a job depends on, where you're applying, how many companies you're applying at, and how well you're positioning yourself to them. So it really depends on how you're able to position yourself and be able to enter the market. But what I can assure you is that, we do have a lot of opportunity in supply chain in Manitoba, because we're right at the middle, in the middle of Canada. So all goods pass through us. So it's a big sector, and it's contributing a lot of money to our province. So, which is why we do have a lot of roles in supply chain. It depends on how well you're able to position yourself and be able to end up, entering and getting the jobs in supply chain. I hope that
Perfect.
answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you, Ibrahim, for your question. And Nishta, and Valerie is asking, thank you for the presentation. Is there any opportunity for construction project manager?
I'm sorry, but I wouldn't happen to know exactly if there are these particular positions open. But you can look at we do have a lot of we have our job portal, and we also have multiple other resources in Winnipeg that are available, where you can see if these positions are open. But currently, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you.
Okay, great. And Fanny Milayo is asking, You mean without SMT, one can't have an entry-level job in supply chain?
No, that is not true. I would say that, you can start as a material handler as well, because the material handler is somebody who would not require a lot of training or any prior educational background. So right after your grade 12, you're able, if you're able to get a material handling position in a warehouse, it's a lot of hands-on work and you learn on the job. So you can, it's a great way to enter the supply chain field. And then we've seen a lot of examples where people started as material handlers, work their way through warehouse managers, because in the end it's a very on the go job. You learn a lot, as in when you learn, as in when you work more in the warehouse.
Okay, great. And we have Russell. I'm gonna allow your mic. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. And Catherine, if you are raising your hand to ask your question, please let me know, and I will give you a chance.
Hello,
Russell, yeah.
uh, I
Hello.
got some I got some questions
Hi.
about the indigenous and procurement. I got like what's it about?
Sorry, which one?
The indigenous and procurement.
The
Oh,
program.
right. So, it's an workshop. It's a 2-day workshop, explaining better about indigenous procurement and how we can advance reconciliation and building partnerships through procurement with different indigenous businesses. So it's a
Okay.
2-day workshop.
And when you complete what do you say, the course, what will you get, like a certification, the dope, what, or what?
Right. You would get like a sort of completion certificate for the workshop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Thank you. Thank you, Russell. Yeah, thank you, Katrina. You said you don't have a question. That's okay. And we have Claudia asking, hi, I would like to know if there are any open apprenticeship opportunities in some linked companies you're dealing with.
Again, I would say that it's all on our job portal. We don't provide any employment directly. So feel free to check out the websites of these companies. They all also reach out to us and put their job postings on our website. I have the link in the chat. So if they have any open positions, they do put them out there. But yeah, that's the answer I have for you, Claudia.
Okay, perfect. And we have Ashik asking a newcomer with 12 plus years of experience in supply chain, logistics, and operations, traded by and worked for Maersk Logistics for 6.5 years. Is it not getting even interview calls in Canada despite using ATS-friendly Canadian format? What would be the next step for them, and how can you help if possible?
Sometimes professionals with previous experience in supply chain, um, um, sometimes what they need is just putting that in the right format in on their resume. Another thing that I would suggest would be maybe taking up the diploma program that ends up giving you some Canadian experience, that will end up leading to some interview calls. It also depends on what positions you're applying for. I understand that sometimes you would have 15 years of experience, and you would like to start at a certain position, but sometimes it's easier to get to the junior positions and then move up your ranks, because if as soon as they know that know your basics and know your primary um, core of supply chain, they're able to put you in higher positions very, very soon. So sometimes it's about trying for the lower level positions, where you're overqualified for, and then moving up ranks.
Okay, sounds good. And we have next up Lukman. They're asking, is there any institution that offers in-person supply chain management courses?
And in person?
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of our educational partners, they do have supply chain courses. So we have Supply Chain Manitoba that has a master's in supply chain. We have University of Winnipeg that has a 1 year UPACE program. We also have RRC that has a supply chain course. Herzing has a supply chain course. A lot of them are in person.
Okay, perfect. And we have Alex asking for SMCP. How long will it take for passing all courses? And is it an entrance of certificate for entering supply chain field? Or do you
So
want to
the
answer this one first?
SCMP.
Yeah, SMCP.
So, right. So the SEMP is for somebody who is already in the field of supply chain and they want to get into managerial positions, they want to go to higher management. We suggest SEMP for those. It takes about 3 to 5 years to complete it. People usually take it part-time. They would take it with their full-time work. The classes are usually in the night time. Um, it's to answer to your questions, um, like the certificate, it's not a certificate, it's like a designation that you get. So it's like a project management designation, something on those lines. So you can use the SCMP or as your title when you're putting your name in your anywhere in your legal documents or anywhere. So it's sort of like an SCMP designation that you get, and then you need to maintain it by maintaining certain credits. They're called CPD points. So I hope that answers your question.
And they have another like series of questions. So they're asking, is experience a plus and a certification, is it a must
Um,
for the
is
same?
For the for SCMP?
Exactly,
Yes.
yes.
So we experience is needed. So you would we have two entry eligibility criterias. It's either 5 years of experience in supply chain or a degree or a diploma in any business or supply chain course. So if you have either of these two, you're able to get into SCMP.
Okay, perfect. And Frederick is asking, I have been working in supply chain for 15 years, but it's not easy to enter the market here.
It really depends, Frederick. So if right now the economy is hit with a lot of tariffs and there aren't many positions open, but um, it is a growing sector, and I agree it is tough. Getting a job in any sector right now is tough, but it's just about how you position yourself and how you're able to crack those interviews.
Okay, great. And Ibrahim is asking a person with no experience in supply chain and he is willing to start a career. Is it possible to be employed, trained in a company?
Right. So like I mentioned earlier, you can start as material handlers in a warehouse and then move up positions. A lot of these companies, once you're hired, over time they give you a lot of training. They would fund some of your training if you want to learn more about supply chain. A lot of companies, a lot of the SCMP designation holders that we have here, they're funded by their company, so their company would take up the cost for that training for them. So yes, for sure, you can start as material handlers, which is a very starting point, and then move up positions.
Okay, perfect. So one last thing, Espoir, if you do have a question, because I can see you have raised your hand, I can allow your mic probably. Please unmute yourself. Or
It's a suggestion I want
okay,
to
go
share.
ahead, please. Yeah.
As you see, most of people who are in this, many who are following up, all of them, most of them have experience and they want to join this career. So can't you just like have program of training people, and then as you are connected, so you can be suggesting one who have been trained by you. Understand what that's my point? That's my suggestion. Or you do have it, I don't know.
So we don't like can you repeat what you're trying to suggest? I believe
Yeah, I try
you
to suggest like most of people who are following, they want to join this career. They have experience on this supply chain, logistic, transportation, warehouse. So my suggestion is you organize a training program where you can train who need to join the career. So when the demand will come, you'll be sending one by one according to their needs.
right. No, that's a
Because
great suggestion. And
individually, people are getting difficult to enter the market and they have that experience. As you have here, that some people have 15 years experience here, understand what I mean? But they're having difficult to get in the market.
right.
Yeah.
No, I that's a great suggestion, and we keep doing these training and programs and workshops. We will try to accommodate the suggestion in the near future, for sure.
Yeah, because we do have that experience as we have here, many people are saying, but the problem is how to enter the market, which is very difficult.
Right,
People have been
right.
here for maybe 2 years, 3 years trying to enter the market. Okay, I understand you say we can start at the lowest level. That's true. But getting also that lowest position is sometimes also hard. You understand? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Well,
understand.
if people can share their resume and other things, then you see, this is have a potential and it's really interesting on this field. Okay, let's call him and train him. Maybe just pay the minimum amount because if something is free, it need also some support and who would be training also need to survive. Understand? We can do that. Understand?
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's a great suggestion, and we'll take it into consideration. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Spore. That's
Thank
really
you.
great suggestion. Yeah. Thank you, Nishta, again for joining us today, and thank you
It was a
everyone for
pleasure.
for all your participation. It was very engaging session, and excellent questions and suggestions as well. Again, thank you for choosing Manitoba Start because our services are free and funded by the Immigration, Refugee, Citizenship Canada and the province of Manitoba. Your feedback is very important and plays an important role in helping us improve and continue to provide high quality services. So, like this one is a good suggestion. You can also suggest how we can deliver these webinars for you. In this 3 minutes survey, use the QR code that you can see on the screen, or maybe use the link that I have sent you on the chat to give us your feedback. Today's session is an information session, so in the event type, just put information session when you complete the survey. So feel free to use the QR code here or maybe the link on the chat. So Lukman is asking, please, how many months is the course? Did you mention, Nishta, any course or maybe?
We have two courses.
Oh,
SMP is
okay.
up to you, so at your own pace. And the SCMP would be between 3 to 5 years.
Okay, great. Okay, so if you are currently not a Manitoba Start client, you can connect with us. How you can do that is by going to our website. So this is our website. You see the For Newcomers button here. You can click there and then you can register for services, or you can also contact the front desk or visit us in person at 271 Portage Avenue. Um, Again, you can also complete the online registration form that's in our website. By registering with Manitoba Start, you will be connected with settlement services if you are a newcomer, or if you are also looking for career services or maybe to connect with employers. You can be assisted with your resume development, career planning, job search, strategies, and interview skills. For the list of programs in career services, just go to our career service button. If you are an internationally educated professional, go check our foreign credential recognition. We do have so many resources and that can help you with your credentials. You can also connect with a career navigator directly by having a meeting with them. So there is a button where you can make an appointment there as well. We do have our event calendar full of events for June coming up. So I encourage everyone to check it. We do have a speed networking events, information sessions, hiring events, webinars like this that you can benefit from. You can also follow us on social media. We're active on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Don't worry about the Twitter. So you'll get up to date for our latest events. So on behalf of Nishda from Supply Chain of Manitoba and the Manitoba Start team, thank you everyone for attending and stay well. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nishda. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.